all the Episode 9 details revealed in Vanity Fair's Star Wars photo shoot. We're still 7 months away from the release of Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, but that's not stopping fan excitement from building over the final installment of the saga. The final film has been so shrouded in mystery and secrecy that we didn't even know the title until we got the first teaser last month at Celebration. However, a light has pierced through the murky depths of speculation thanks to the folks over at Vanity Fair, which gave us some seriously gorgeous looks at new planets and new characters, care of Annie Leibovitz. There was a ton to be learned, and we're breaking down all of the info right here, right now. Now, just in case you didn't notice it from the title of this video, there will be discussions of Star Wars Episode 9 in this piece. So if you're the kind of fan who wants to avoid every Star Wars detail and go into The Rise of Skywalker completely fresh, then turn this video off now. Also, why did you click on this in the first place? So let's just jump into things. First off, we finally know a definitive timeline for Episode 9. We have all been able to deduce previously that time had passed since the end of The Last Jedi, but according to Vanity Fair, it appears 1 year has passed between films and that Rey has used that time to hit those Jedi textbooks or take some online Jedi Force Ghost classes to reach the end of her training. As for Kylo Ren, he seems to be in a very interesting spot in this film. He ended The Last Jedi on top of the heap of the First Order, but also had a crushing symbolic defeat at Crate. The Vanity Fair article plays into his divided nature, with Driver saying he had been forging this maybe bond with Rey, and it kind of ends with the question in the air, is he going to pursue that relationship, or when the door of her ship goes up, does that also close that camaraderie that they were maybe forming? News that Rey and Kylo Ren's Force bond will be deeper than before is accompanied by a shot of them dueling while drenched in water. We're guessing this takes place on the Death Star 2 remains we got a glimpse of at the end of last month's teaser. It's also stated in the article that sources close to the movie say that Skywalker will at long last bring to a climax the millennia-long conflict between the Jedi Order and its dark shadow, the Sith, which corresponds with the rumors we've heard that the film will tie together all the Star Wars trilogies and with the ominous Darth Sidious laughter at the end of the teaser. So what about the rest of the First Order? Well, we finally get our first glimpse at Richard E. Grant as Allegiant General Pryde. Fans had previously speculated that Grant's character could be General Hux's father, but that has now officially been shot down. We also finally get some info on the Knights of Ren. They're going to be in this flick, and we see them with J.J. Abrams on the desert planet on the edge of the galaxy that we now know is called Pasaana, and they're described as the enforcers of Kylo Ren's will. But this info also comes along with the news that, in the teaser we saw last month, Kylo is actually fighting the rest of the Knights of Ren, which makes us wonder where everyone's final allegiance will lie. As for the Resistance, Poe and Finn have stepped into leadership roles within the organization, and they're joined by newcomer Naomi Ackie, who we previously knew is playing a character called Janna. And of course, we get another glimpse of Lando Calrissian in the Millennium Falcon. We got more confirmation of how the late Carrie Fisher's General Leia will appear in the film. Director J.J. Abrams was able to write scenes around unused footage of Leia in The Force Awakens, and Leia will share screen time with Lieutenant Connix, who is played by Carrie Fisher's daughter, Billie Lourd. Beyond the Resistance and First Order characters, we got some info on a newcomer with questionable allegiance, Zoe Bliss, played by J.J. Abrams alum Kerry Russell. Her costume and mask, while reminiscent of bounty hunters Boba Fett and Zam Wesell, hide her identity and motives, as we can see in this shot of her hanging out in the Thieves' Quarter on the snow-dusted planet Kijimi. Some fans assume that Zoe Bliss might be Rey's mother, but it's probably safer to assume that she instead knows information about Rey's parents. Based on this shot in the Episode 9 teaser, it looks like Kijimi is where we see this ship that also matches the ship Rey sees in her Force vision. Now, one of the most interesting things we saw was a new shot of Luke Skywalker with R2-D2. We know Luke will play into this film in some way as his lines open the teaser, plus the name of the movie is The Rise of Skywalker. In this new photo, we see him in the robes he wore at the time of his death, so we can probably assume he will be rocking some Force Ghost knowledge for Rey. And since The Rise of Skywalker will close out the current Star Wars saga, we did get a tidbit about where Star Wars will go from here, with further confirmation that the next trilogy of Star Wars films will debut in 2022, with a new entry every other year. This is the trilogy that was being developed by Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, who are helming the first film film in that trilogy. As of now, there is no word yet on when Rian Johnson's new trilogy will fall into Lucasfilm's release schedule or on what either of those trilogies will be about. But then again, are you surprised since we're still getting so little information on episode 9? But what do you folks think? Which character are you most excited to see in the Rise of Skywalker? What role do you think the Knights of Ren will finally play? And what setting do you want to see in the next trilogy of Star Wars films? Let's discuss. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and mash that little bell to get notified every time we drop a new show or video. And if you haven't caught our new show, Because Space, then you can check out the first episode right now over on the Because Science channel. New episodes of Because Space are out Mondays.